I am here with one of the biggest talents and just one of the brightest stars that has ever been on Broadway and also the West End. Thank you so much, Ramin,
No
for taking
problem.
the time to meet with me.
Thank you for that intro.
You kind of became bitten by the acting bug after seeing Phantom of the Opera with Colm Wilkinson when you were back in high school.
That's right. Well, I was even younger than high school. I was grade 7, I think.
Grade 7.
Mrs. Wainwright, my English, my teacher at the time. Where was I? Armor Heights High School. Armor Heights School, public school. And yeah, I remember at that point I was into music. I was really into country music and the sound. You know, my household, we didn't grow up on Disney films or musical theater. You know, to this day I still haven't seen Wizard of Oz and things like that.
Really?
But so I loved the certain voices. That was always something that stuck out to me, like Johnny Cash, Tracy Chapman, with my records of Kenny Rogers, and you know, my first tape I ever bought was a Tragically Hip. And these are unique singers, I think. They got emotion, they got tears in their voice, they've got stories in life. So, you know, any sort of like other sounds didn't really perk my soul. And then when I saw Phantom, the only reason I went was the day off school. And I thought, we lived in Peterborough, Ontario, small town, so going to Toronto for the day was, going to the city. Let's do it. And remember when the Phantom started, it had the best campaign, by the way, like leading up to the opening. I remember you'd be watching TV and there'd be just a commercial come on, a little dark, glassy lake, a rose would fall in it, and the overture would, dun, 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 is coming. That's it. So for months in school, people would, even kids were talking about it. I thought it was so clever. So we're going to go see that. And then when Colm started singing, I thought, oh my God, there's something that it just, you don't have to be a theater lover or a music lover. Something happens to your soul. It's like he's just going, I'm going to take it. And then I remember thinking, maybe that'd be cool to do.
Yeah. But you never thought that you would be the one doing that to other people. So that's got to be such a...
If I do, then great, because that's all... I remember
you do.
what I wanted to do, because I don't think of myself as a singer, and I don't like to think along those lines, because it's irrelevant. I think we're here to perform, entertain, bring to life a story. So you do want to take this, start playing with people's emotions, because that's what you signed up for. And I do remember thinking, I want to do hopefully to people what he's just done to me. Because what I experienced that day was phenomenal, and I think I'd love to sign up to try and do that, because it looks great to do, and if you have that effect on people, and it's not a personal connection, but you took me away for 2-3 hours.
Yeah. I'm sure you could find 1 million people to agree that you've done the same.
I hope so.
So you have been in some of the biggest musicals, Les Mis and Phantom. Was that intimidating at first when you were cast in those shows, or?
No, because I'm not a smart man. So ignorance is bliss. Because it didn't, to me, I thought I'm going into something with such a big fan base. And this was before social media really kicked off. So I didn't ever anticipate what we call, keyboard warriors and stuff like that. Because I never cared what people thought.
Right.
All I knew was I'm going into something I'm riding a huge wave. I saw it as support. I'm one of the fans, and now I get to play in it. So for me, it was all excitement.
Sorry. Go ahead.
No, and then social media happens, and then I quickly learned, well, what do I care if such and such thinks this? You don't really take on board reviews. I signed up to play. I'm just going to keep playing.
Yeah. And what did you find most challenging about each of your roles in those shows?
Do you know what? It's believing myself. So like, especially with Phantom, doing that as London's youngest, it's my dream role, and it happened far quicker than I anticipated.
Right.
And so it was just a matter of, I remember in rehearsals not feeling it, and it's one of those things where even now, like I hated wearing the mask just in normal clothes. I thought this feels silly, to be honest.
Right.
And then, but then when I started putting together how I felt I wanted to play the character, and then when the costume and the prosthetics go on, it was a whole different ballgame. Because the way I saw the Phantom character, then started married to the costume, and then you get into that world, especially with the prosthetic. With Valjean again, man, I didn't even want to play it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just, I'm like, because I thought there's only been one definitive version I've seen, and that's Calm. So I thought, what can I bring that's not been seen? Especially being young again, but then reading the novel, and for me, his physicality and emotional state went hand in hand. I thought, wow, he was in the prime of his life. He's not what kind of thought Valjean was. Well, at least what I thought.
Right.
So he's jacked. Oh my God, he's in shape, and there was a reason why he kept himself that way. So then, those were the challenges, starting to believe myself. Not in me to do it, but believe I am that part.
Right. When you were on that stage in those shows, did you have the sense that maybe you were going to be influencing someone to do the same thing and follow in your footsteps the way you had followed in Combe?
Again, you don't think that or think about stuff like that, but every now and then you know, we're spoiled nowadays. And again, this is, I think, to do with social media and people's accessibility. Because stage door is not what it was when I was growing up.
Right.
Much more calm and
it's a big
fewer,
difference now. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's hard. It's harder to engage personally one-on-one because it's just so much. It's It's amazing. Like, that support is incredible. You walk out of stage door here, it's like a rock concert.
Right.
But it's hard to then not get that engagement. When every now and then there's time or there's a moment, and I see a kid that I really want to. Just something in me goes, you take an extra second there.
Yeah.
And see what he's all about. And then it reminds me, because I'm like, that was me.
Right. That's so cool that it's kind of come full circle for you in that respect.
But I must admit, there's times I do feel a little guilty. Not guilty, but you feel like, you know, I don't think for a second part of the job is stage door. That's a bonus for me as an actor, that people want to do that too. So I don't take that for granted, but you kind of want that connection every now and then.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's chaos out there.
Yeah, speaking of the stage door.
Because there's that, and then next door you got all these theaters, and all our stage doors on Saturdays, matinees.
It's like craziness.
It's mayhem out there.
Yeah.
Like, they should shut the street off and just make it a
one big stage door.
Fan parade.
There you go. I'm sure the actors would like that, and so would the fans.
I'd like that if there was no car, because I find that overwhelming. It makes me introverted. And then there's cars going, and there's people. And there's people, you signing on, goes, hey, you famous? I'm like, well, if you have to ask.
Yeah, then, yeah. Now, we are here backstage at Anastasia, where you play Gleb, a role that was not in the original movie. Did you audition for that, or did they write the role for you?
I didn't audition. Very grateful, because I'm terrible. I get so nervous. I remember once I had an audition, because I've been lucky. My career progressed fast, and it was more like, would you like to do this? And like, earlier on, once when they said, when things were happening for me, they're like, bring in your book. What do you mean? Your songbook for auditions. I was like, what is that? I don't have one. Anyhow, for this, I did the workshop. They asked me to do the workshop, and I just loved coming to. It resurrected my love for doing this, because I was getting to a point where I'm like, maybe I'll do a different career for a while. You know, take a break. Maybe I don't want to do this anymore. Working with these producers and the creative staff, the cast in the workshop, you know, a lot of that's changed now when it comes to the cast. But I just had so much fun. I had so much fun playing a part like this, especially this character. I found him endearing. I found others. It's much more complicated than the surface villain, as it's easy to kind of paint him as.
Right.
Someone's got to be one, you know.
Right, that's right. Might as well be you, right?
But it's not what it seems, you know. And so, yeah, you asked the creators whether they thought it was me all along. You know, I'd like to, you know, once I signed up, they wrote me a song to go with it. But I think what we created that day I think it was a week or 2 weeks, in the workshop, kind of, I can't speak for them, because it sounds like I'm narcissistic. But I think what we developed together, and the energy kind of, were seeds planted to what Gleb is now. I would like to think. Well, I didn't write it. So.
I'll ask them.
Yes, probably best.
So now I understand you are having a concert at B.B. King's on July 23rd and 24th. not count that as an extracurricular type thing, or it kind of takes you out of being on stage and performing, a different set of music.
Yeah, that is extracurricular. It's fun. I say it's fun, but every time I do it, like right now, I'm so nervous for it. I think, why am I doing this? Why do I keep doing this? Who am I to think I'm going to do a concert of stuff I love to do? Come watch this. But I always did it because I've been so busy with theater and that takes me around the world.
Mm-hmm.
My group that we usually get to do these things, I get to hang out with my friends.
Mm-hmm.
And we get to jam and play. And it's grown organically. We didn't set out to be a band. We didn't set out to do tours. It just so happens there's time like, well, let's do this. Someone goes, well, if you're going to do that, will you come here? And we're like, we're up for it to hang.
Right.
We're up for the crack. That being said, this version of the band is for daily changing. One guy's, oh, I can't do this now. I can't make it for this. Oh, okay, I'll get him. Luckily, I've got a pool of friends that we love to play together with.
There you go.
But it's just a chance to try new things. And oddly, because this all started back in the Love Never Dies days,
Mm-hmm.
and Sony Records signed me, I wasn't looking for a record deal.
Yeah.
My friend was phoning me saying, hey, my friend Simon Bailey, who also told me I got nominated for a Tony, I had no idea. Simon goes, hey, do you want to do a record deal? I said, what are you talking about? He goes, Sony Records. Why are they phoning you?
Right.
Because the manager wanted to sign me, was his buddy, so he was going through him. But I kept thinking, this can't be real. Whatever, Simon. Long story short, it turns out to be a real deal. So we go out and make a record. And then we started doing concerts, because you got to, when you have a record.
Mm-hmm.
And I started really enjoying it, but this was more orchestrated. And as the tour went on, I kept saying, can we try this just with guitar tonight? And then the reaction we got, I remember the first time we did Music at Night just with acoustic guitar. Then I really enjoyed doing that song, because for me, Music at Night is not a song, it's a scene.
Right.
Now, great scene
Mm-hmm.
in the show.
Right.
Trying to do that in concert without the visuals of what's going on, I found that difficult, especially having done it. But then just with guitar, and we do a little bridge version of it, it was nice to hear the song again for the first time and how beautiful the song is.
Right.
So I was like, let's try another one like that. And from there, this sort of roots your sound came. But I don't want people to think when we do these songs, we're just bluegrassing it for the sake of it. I love that style. I love that honest simplicity.
Right.
But all that is storytelling. Music theater is storytelling. And I've always was told when I was songwriting with people, if the song doesn't work with just guitar, it's probably not a great song. Theater songs are great. And you look back in the Rat Pack days, and they were singing music, what was Cole Porter and all that's
Right.
music theater. And it was hip. Then rock and roll came. All right, well, let's folkify some of these things. It's in our passion.
Mm-hmm.
It's hip. It's popular. But take a theater song out of the theater, it's
Right.
still a great song.
Absolutely.
And we still want to give it like any great pop song, there's a drama, there's a reason why that artist wrote that. Well, these composers wrote it for a reason, so let's try and still honor
Mm-hmm.
the energy of it in the story.
And there's nothing more beautiful, I don't think, than an acoustic version of a song. It's really, I feel there's such a connection between you just listening to the guitar and like connecting to that, and not the big production surrounding it. So.
And we truly are behind this because it's tried and tested. We've done a lot of miles
Mm-hmm.
on the road with this style. We've worked with, bona fide bluegrass in that world. Even I did Bring Him Home with the Avett Brothers on their New Year's Eve concert. Two great music theater artists, and we've bounced these out. And the sound that it is now, and the way we play it, and the comfort we have in the way we do it,
Right.
has come organically over time. We don't force anything anymore. We don't want to prove nothing.
Mm-hmm.
We just want to have a good time. And then when we do B.B. King's, it is like, I feel whoever's there that night is part of the family.
Yeah. And I'm sure you'll make them feel that way.
Well, they make us feel that way.
So you did mention you were nominated for a Tony, and you were also nominated for an Olivier Award. That must have been quite an honor, just to be nominated and, to show your work being recognized.
Yeah, it's hard because those things are great for our industry because I think you got to take it for what it is. It promotes what we do, promotes shows. Like for me, if it sells tickets to shows and brings people out and people get inspired, job done. That's great.
Yeah.
I didn't ever dream as a kid, I want to be an actor, I'm going to win an award.
Right.
So when it happens, nothing for me changes, but you know, you get to do some cool interviews.
Yeah.
Put on some nice suits. My family is there, my boys.
Yeah.
My son fell asleep in my arms live on TV during the Tony Awards. The Olivier's, I had a great time. Me and my wife had a great time. But you know, I just love the work.
Yeah.
To be honest. So like, when I think about things now, oddly enough, when things come up, and these are great accolades, but I'm like, that was gonna be my night off. Resting, I was gonna hang with my Andy, my wife, you know.
You get to hang with them just in a little bit more dressed up than you probably had planned.
We gotta get a tux.
Now, you just were honored with a Beacon Award recently, just last week, correct?
Yeah.
That must have been awesome for you.
Yeah,
Must have
that
been
was
cool.
an eye-opener for me, though. You know, like, that award was kind of, it was a cool evening, and it's left a mark in me, and I've been thinking about it ever since, because I kind of thought, who was I to kind of get that award? You know, I'm sure there's people who do more for their communities, but it's made me want to do more, and there's things that, you know, I'm starting to think about that we can do, and hopefully, I think next week we might go check out one of these schools as well.
Very cool.
Because those kids are great, and I'm like, again, I don't want to be negative about social media. There's also a very positive side of reaching out and inspiring. Because I think, look, I'm not Justin Bieber, I'm not, you know, Tom Hanks, but at the same time, there's a lot of youngins who look up to this and want to do it. And if I'm one of those people that they can reach out to, there's times that I can help.
Right.
We should.
I think you're very humble about your place here on Earth. And I think
know.
you're not giving yourself enough credit, but
I just focus on being better than yesterday and being a great father and husband as best I can. Because when you're away so much, you try and get your priorities straight. You know?
Yeah. And you met your wife on a cruise ship, if I'm not mistaken, right?
I remember we were just talking about it the other day. I was 3 days off the plane in England, and I had a recall for Les Mis at that time. I didn't have a work permit. I didn't realize how important that was. I didn't know how it worked, to be honest. I was just showing up. But the reason I went to this audition was it was at 9:30 in the morning. Les Mis was later in the afternoon. And I thought, I was living in Oxford, so the train in, I thought, I'll get in. This gives me something to do till the Les Mis audition. Keeps me off the streets. Sing a song, and then I had a photocopy of my picture, handwritten resume. 'Cause, look, I was a hillbilly. I didn't study for this. I didn't know what the protocol was. I just show up.
Right.
That's my thing. Just show up.
Just show up.
And I hand Mandy my stuff, and she's looking at it thinking, bloody open calls. We have to see him. And I remember thinking, wow, look at her.
Yeah.
I'm glad I came.
Yeah, it worked out well for you.
Didn't it?
Ended up with 2 sons, Hadley and Jaden. What do you guys do to kind of decompress from, you know, the grueling schedule up Broadway, and, you know, do you...
Well, sadly, we live apart. They live in England still.
Oh, okay.
So that's why
That's going to be tough.
That's why, like, the whole sort of, and I'm not getting any younger, I'm getting older. It's funny the things I think about now that I didn't think about 3 years ago, because it was all about roof over their head, food on the table, money in the bank. Now it's, I don't care about any of that. I just want time.
Right.
You know, I want to be time rich. So that's what keeps all this other stuff. It's great. It's great, but what is real?
Right.
You know?
Do they get to come spend some time with you in the city now that it's summer?
Yeah, they'll be back end of July. But like in reality, I say when I was in the West End, so I'm living at home, you know, I like to do normal things. We take my boys out on my Harley. Jaden loves to fish. Hadley he's getting into music and dance now. He's always dancing now, which is great, but I'm not one of those pushy parents either, because I'd be the first to think, son, you don't got it.
Right.
So I'd rather...
We won't show him this interview that you said
No,
that.
I'm not saying he doesn't.
No.
Actually, he's a great dancer. He certainly didn't get my feet. Got his mother's dance ability there. But you know, I love, because I feel like I'm traveling so much, the extraordinaries become slightly ordinary, and the ordinaries become extraordinary.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind a bit more of that ordinary.
Kind of trades places a little bit. Which
what is perceived as ordinary.
Right.
But, you know, reality's awesome.
Yeah. If you do have downtime, what do you do to keep yourself busy? I know you're into fashion.
Yeah, I do like that. So what's keeping me busy here now, you know, I have an idea to start a t-shirt line. And I just had a meeting about that today. I've got a cool I think a cool idea. We've made some cool tour merchandise before, and I was really proud of the quality and stuff. And I've got friends in cool fashion places who make sure it's good quality stuff. So yeah, hopefully something like that will come out soon. And I want to do something good with that. So it's not just selling a T-shirt for the sake of selling a T-shirt.
Right, and you're also taking part in a pin campaign.
Yeah, with
nice
Roots
on
Canada.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, again, they've been really kind. Reached out for a couple of things before, and then I saw these nice pins, this nice Be Nice campaign, working in conjunction with We Movement, the charity. And I thought, well, I don't want to be one of those guys that just gets the stuff and goes on Instagram. I'm like, well, what can we do? How can we be active about it? So when I ordered today a whole bunch, and they matched, Roots Canada matched it, so we'll have 200 pins. And I've not really celebrated Canada Day for quite some time, because I've been in Canada, or I've been traveling somewhere. So I thought, you know what, we're close enough to the border. So on Canada Day we have 2 shows. So I'm going to split the pins in half in that stage door. Anyone who shows up, pass them out so everyone, you know, they can spread the word of being nice.
Right.
And it does great for the We Movement's charity. And so I'm looking forward to that. So in the meantime, I did a video the other day thinking, just let me know what you think it is to be nice. And the comments, the thought out comments, it's amazing. Like, it's going to take time for me to go through, because I don't want people to think I'm not going to read it and actually respond to it. But some of the stuff I've skimmed through quickly, some amazing answers, and I was shocked at how much it's resonated with people, which is great.
Especially in this, this day and age, it's nice to.
Yeah, and I hope people do
stuff.
Also get the pins, because again, like I said, it really supports the youth, the Indigenous empowerment program with We Movement, and they're only $3 Canadian dollars, I believe. So, which is nothing.
Right.
So it'd be great. So I'm trying to think of how we can engage more with that. So I kind of like, if you bought a pin, come take a selfie with me, so we can spread the word that way. Hashtag Be Nice.
There you go. And finally, what is the most embarrassing thing that has happened to you on stage? Kind of switch gears a little bit from.
I had a story in mind, and I keep forgetting.
I did see a video where you were talking about the full Monty, but we don't have to go there with that one.
That was
that was on the cruise ship. Yeah, on the cruise ship. Other than that one.
Well, I've done the story where I missed the scene as Valjean, but there must have been something else.
Have you ever missed a cue?
Well, I missed the whole scene as Jean Valjean.
Oh. Your minor character, you mean?
You didn't hear it. So
I did not hear this.
I'm in my dressing room, right by the stage, mind you, at the Imperial Theater here on Broadway, and I think I was reading an audition scene or something, just what I normally do. Nothing is out of the ordinary. Tannoy's on. And I guess I got so involved, and all I hear is, come knock. I said, come in. Stage manager comes, Ramin, are you supposed to be on stage now? I listen. Yeah. But what quickly calculated in my head was, why wasn't it like, Ramin, get on stage?
Right.
Like, well, if you're calm, I'm going to be calm.
Right.
It's like with kids. When my kid used to pump his head, I'd be like, hey, all right. As opposed to, oh my God.
That's right. The minute you overreact, it's over.
So I'm thinking, well, I can't run on stage now.
Right.
I've missed half of what I should have said. So at this point, let Cosette walk around the garden.
Right.
She has her moment, and then I just come in, see her, and right away she's like, there's so many things, and she starts wailing on me. And in my eyes, I tried to think, how can I, with my eyes, say, I'm so sorry. And then, no more words. And as she goes, I was just like, I'm so sorry. Bye.
That's fun. Now, obviously, you're very well known for your stage roles, but you did do an episode of Blue Bloods.
Yeah.
Is that something you're interested in doing, more TV and film work and stuff like that?
I would. It was a new medium. It was fun. I've done a bit of TV, and that experience was great, because our scenes, that what we see is like chopped and other scenes spliced in. We did it all in one go, so it was like a theater scene, which was a great way to let it roll, which I loved. So we play a long moment and then let them edit it in and out. But I had to play that translator, so I remember like, well, you speak Farsi, so you can speak this, right? I'm like, no, this is a specific dialect.
Right.
Not one, but two different ones.
Right.
So I, like Pidgin, I learned it, and I remember I worked with a dialect coach, someone who could speak that language, so it was a very specific Arabic, two different dialects of it. So now I'm dealing with Donnie Wahlberg, who was amazing to work with. But then, as you do a few scenes, he starts going off the cuff and ad-libbing with me. So, but I had to translate to this person what he's saying. So if one of the questions was, tell me what the bombs look like, and I would then translate it. Then the next day he goes, tell me how the bombs worked. I was like, well, I don't want to break camera, I don't want to say cuss. So I was just like, all right. Because I can, it's all I know. And my line, he snookered me because I have to tell him what I don't know how to say it any other way. I went, and he really snookered me. He goes, I didn't ask you what they look like, I asked you how they work. And I just went, I'm aware. But I thought I got to roll with it, but he just put me in my place. I thought, well done, Mr. Wahlberg, well done.
That's a great story. Thank you so much for sharing that.
No problem.
Ramin, thank you so much for taking time before a show to interview with me. It's been a real pleasure.
Oh,
You're